Sup, this is Alex Chu coming at you with another episode. This episode I want to talk about women nowadays, right? They treat you like an ATM, okay? It's like their only purpose of being with you is to spend your money. That's it. There's no love, there's no romance, there's no caring, there's nothing. And I want to show you why, okay? But before I talk about that, I want to tell you my name's Alex Chu. I'm the guy who invented physical mortality rings. These are rings that you put on your small finger during sleep. You wear them, you don't age anymore. You become physically immortal. For example, I'm already 54. Look, you can see. Look at that. You see I'm still pretty skinny, right? 54-year-old man, look at that. If you go to my website, livemuchlonger.com, I have lots of testimonials from my website. They're mostly from Amazon customers. You know, they give me 4-star, 5 stars. If you're interested, if you want to look like me when you're 54, livemuchlonger.com, livemuchlonger.com, link is at the bottom of this video. But anyway, yeah, today that's my subject, okay? Why modern women treat you like an ATM. You know, back in the days, right? I'm talking about 1920s, 1930s, even 1950s, okay? You know, life was harsh. You know, a lot of jobs that women just cannot take. You know, for example, horse-drawn carriages, right? You know, only a man can handle such a job because, handling horses, that's a tough job. You know, you have to feed the horse, you have to clean the horse, you know, and horses are dangerous, you know. You could imagine if you have a horse-drawn carriage, you know, and you're the driver, it's most likely you're a man, right? Who would trust a woman to drive a horse-drawn carriage, right? Back in the days, you know, in the 1930s, 1940s, you know, cars, automobiles, and buses, you know, trucks, they're not that reliable, you know. You could have a blown tire at any time, right? You're driving on the street and suddenly your tire, you know, you blew your tires. What you gonna do? You have to change your tires, right? You know, back in the days, you know, technology was not that advanced and things are unreliable. So usually these bus drivers, truck drivers, they're usually men, you know? Not like modern days, you know, women can drive the bus and women can drive a truck. But back in the days, all these jobs are taken by men, right? And back in the days, there's no telephone. Well, even if there is, you know, even there's telephone, there's, radios, you still have to promote your product, right? Let's say I want to promote my product. But how do I promote my product, right? And sometimes you have to go door to door. You know, back in the days, there's salesmen going back. You know, back in the days, there's salesmen going door to door. Right now, it's very rare. You know, right now, you don't see people knocking on your door trying to sell you shit, right? But back in the days, it's very common. There's like a salesman, you know, knocking on people's doors, trying to sell you shampoo, trying to sell you encyclopedia, trying to sell you all sorts of things. Back in the days, it's very common. And back in the days, those are men's job, okay? Men's job. Because, can you imagine, you have to walk like, I don't know how many miles, like 10 miles or 20 miles in one single day, right? You're knocking on all the doors, right, just to sell something. So back in the days, those are men's job. You understand? And that's the reason why back in the days, a lot of women, they sit home. They don't go out there and look for jobs. They sit home because there are no jobs available for women back in the days. Only jobs available for women is secretary. You know, if you could type, you use a typewriter, right? Secretary. Or maybe if you work for laundry, you know, laundry cleaner. You help people wash their clothes. You know, back in the days, a lot of, you know, you can help people wash their clothes by hand. You could work for a tailor, right? You know, you use your hand to sew clothes together, right? Stuff like that, you know, or you could work at a department store as a sales clerk. See, back in the days, women take those kind of jobs, right? But those kind of jobs are rare. You understand? Back in the days, is usually most available jobs are taken by men, right? Plumber, mechanics. I don't know, because back in the days things are hard. You understand? I mean, there's technology wasn't that advanced. Okay, let's say you're just you're just selling groceries. You're just selling fish, meat, vegetables, right? You know, the crates are very heavy, right? You carry like 50 pounds of meat. You put 60 pounds of beef on your shoulder. Those are men's job, right? So back in the days, it's most women, they would just sit home, you know. They would just sit home as a housekeeper, right? Take care of children. And back in the days, you know, people get married very, very early on. A lot of women, they become pregnant, you know, at 20-year old. And they would have like 3, 4 kids. And that's very common back in the days. And by the time when a woman is like 35, you know, her son is probably already 15-year old, 15, 16-year old. And her son can help around the house. So by the time a woman is like 35, 36, the son is already a teenager. He could go out there and work and bring home his salary, right, to help the maintain the household. So I don't know. It just life is a little more simple back in the days, you know. So women they're not like looking for fucking everything. But nowadays women, they're not like that anymore. You understand? Nowadays women, they're just not romantic anymore, because nowadays it's not. I mean, technology is so advanced, right? A woman can do almost everything. The woman can become a pilot. She could be a pilot of a jumbo jet. You know, she could be a executive of some big corporation. She could be a teacher, a doctor, a fucking college professor, computer engineer. Because right now technology is so advanced, right? And you just basically, all you need is a keyboard, right? In order to be some engineer. All you need is a keyboard, right? It doesn't matter if you're a computer engineer or mechanical designer or whatever designer. All you really need is a keyboard. So even a woman can take that kind of job. So women has taken a lot of men's job, you understand? And they are being paid very good salary, okay? And they're basically robbing the man's job, you know? And all the dirty jobs are still being handled by men. For example, plumbers, right? Construction workers, I don't know, auto mechanics, they are still being handled by men. Those hard jobs are still being handled by men. And women have basically taken all the very good jobs, you know? Easy jobs, right? So there's no problem for you to be a computer engineer if you are a woman, right? No problem at all. These very high-tech jobs and very good paying jobs are being, I don't know, occupied by women. But the problem is these women, they still expect you to pay for everything. Like, they still expect you to pay for everything, you know? Like, when we go on a date, you gotta pay for my meals, you gotta buy me bags, you gotta buy me handbags, you gotta buy me diamond rings, you gotta buy me this and that. And these women, sometimes they have children, they're single moms. It's like they want you to support their child for them. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of baby daddies, but you know, I expect you to, if you're dating me, you have to pay for my child. You have to take care of my child. It's like they still expect you to pay for everything, right? Although they have taken all the good jobs. They're getting high paying jobs. You know, and they're basically, I don't know. They're asking for equal rights. This is not like back in the 1920s, right? 1920s, women have very little rights, but nowadays women have all the rights they want, but they still expect you to do everything for them. You're basically a walking ATM. You have to pay for everything. You have to be the backbone of the household. Right? They expect you to earn more money than them. Although they have taken all the good jobs, they're earning very good money, right? Let's just say a woman is making like $60,000 or $70,000 a year, and they want you to earn more. They said, okay, if I'm earning 60,000, I expect you to earn at least $100,000 a year, right? Because that would make me look good. Because I don't want to. I have a social media website. I have a Facebook account. I have whatever, Instagram account, whatever. I don't want to tell my friends that my husband or my boyfriend, doesn't even earn that much money. I want to tell people that my husband or my boyfriend earns at least twice as much as me. Right? It has to make me look good. I want a man who makes me look good. And now this technology is so advanced, and they don't really need a man anymore. Basically, what I'm saying is, women don't really need a man anymore. Okay, she's just looking for a man to make her look good. She's just out there looking for a man who makes her look good. Make her look good on her Facebook page. Make her look good on her Instagram, on her Tinder account, on her whatever. Her social media account, just to make her look good. That's the reason why she's looking for a man, right? And then a man still has to provide everything. Although she has such high-paying jobs, she still wants a man who's to provide for everything. And then it's like, and nowadays women, right? Nowadays women, they don't really. They're not like back in the days, like 1920s and 1930s. Women, they do everything back in the days, man. They know how to make pies. They can bake pies. They can make handmade noodles. They can make all sorts of shit back in the days. And nowadays, women, they're not even good at they're not even that good at doing chores. They're not even that good at cooking, and it's just that, I don't know. They're not even that good at cooking. They're not even that good at cleaning. They're earning pretty good money, because they probably have an education, went to high school, went to college, graduated, and get a good paying job. And now they want a husband or a husband who earns twice as much as them. She earns like $60,000. That means you have to earn like maybe $100,000 in order to make her look good. And you still have to pay for everything. And basically, she doesn't really. I don't think modern women needs a man. Modern women really needs a walking ATM. That's what they need. Because a modern woman has lots of simps, licking her ass every day. She pop open her phone, right? And immediately, if she has like a whole bunch of social media accounts like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, whatever, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, there's simps everywhere. There's simps everywhere, Every day, especially if the woman is pretty, right? She might even have an OnlyFans account. You don't know. There's simps everywhere. She open up her phone book. All she has to do is open her phone, and there's a whole bunch of simps texting her, right? DMing her. Good morning, queen, or good night, queen, and shit like that. Oh, you're so pretty today, and this and that. She doesn't need a man to lick her ass anymore because there's already so many simps on the internet licking her ass. She doesn't need to look for a man to lick her ass right beside her. She doesn't need that anymore. I mean, she's getting tons of validation from other men, you understand? So she's not looking for that anymore. She doesn't need a real life man sitting right beside her giving her validation. She doesn't need that anymore. You know? So, and she doesn't need a partner to speak to. You understand? Nowadays, I mean, social media is so advanced, she can speak to anybody she wants. Right? You go online, there's all sorts of social media websites. You can chat with anybody you want. Right? You write something online and somebody will reply to you, reply to your post within minutes. You could chat with anybody you want. So a woman is no longer looking for a buddy. A woman is no longer looking for a soulmate, you know? So at this point, basically a woman just wants a man who makes her look good and pay for everything, right? And you know what? If one day you're sick, okay, let's say a woman marries you and one day, I don't know, you're sick, you went to the doctor and you are diagnosed with cancer. You know, you have cancer, you might die. You have to go through chemotherapy or something. Hey, you know what? She might not even stick around. She might file for a divorce. That's how women are nowadays, you know? She doesn't need you anymore. You're basically just an ATM. You're just a walking ATM. So that's the reason why so many men, they just, I don't know, they realize that it's not worth it, you know, to dating and marriage, it's just simply not worth it, you know. Because these women, they just, I don't know. It's not like back in the days. This is not the 1920s, 1930s, you know. Like, everything is so tough for women, right? There aren't that many jobs out there for women, so most women, they have to stay home. They cook for you, they clean for you, they wash your clothes for you. You go out there, I don't know, if you're a salesman, you go out there walking door to door selling your encyclopedias. Come back home, you still get to eat her homemade pies, you know? And you still have to you have like 2 or 3 children. Although you work hard, she work hard. It's a happy family. Back in the days, it was like that, you know. But nowadays, I don't know. Nowadays, it's just very complicated. Technology is so advanced. Women got everything they wanted. You know, they have a high-paying job. They went to school. They got good education. They have high-paying jobs. But they still want a man to do everything. They still want a man to pay for everything. You know, they want a walking ATM. And if you're sick, okay, if you got fired or if you're sick, good luck to you, man. They could file for a divorce like right away, man. It's just, I don't know. It's like you're not even their friend, you understand? I mean, you look at your wife, you're not even her friend. Because she doesn't need to speak to you. All she has to do is go on social media and speak to other people, right? There's a lot of simps licking her ass every day, especially if she's pretty. And she can speak to everybody. She can speak to a whole bunch of people on social media. She doesn't need a friend anymore. You're just a walking ATM. But anyway, that's all I want to say. Have a nice day.